you? Where are you? Where are you?
So you keep killing folk, Dutch? I'm just trying to make sure that some of us survive, Arthur.
Yes! They're going down!
Hello everyone. Today, instead of talking about ways to make money or list videos of some sort, I am going to be talking about why Chapter 5 of Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my favorite chapters, and why this chapter is incredibly underrated. There's a lot to get into, so let's just get started. Now, to start talking about why this chapter is one of my favorites, we have to find out how we actually got here. At the very end of Chapter 4, the gang is about to hit the biggest bank they ever have, the biggest robbery since the ferry in Blackwater. As Hosea is explaining the plan to Dutch, Dutch finally starts to feel nervous about something for once. Dutch is very nervous about this job because, like the ferry robbery, it is a huge one. This one, however, being backed up by Hosea's wisdom.
Like it.
It's the right plan. We've done the work. I've been in town, looking, watching, and waiting. I've tested it as well as I can. It's the right plan.
I know. I just... Well, between you and me, I'm nervous. I suppose that's it.
You're never nervous. That's been my job all these years.
I know. You're sure?
Certain. Well, not certain it will be done, but certain it can be done. And certain this is the only way I see we can do it. I've timed it out more than once.
Well, you're the expert.
As they talk about the plan, Arthur is eventually brought into the mix, and Dutch asks Arthur about it. Arthur brings up the fact that if they stick around here, they're going to end up dead. The Pinkertons have been hot on their trail since Valentine, and now is the opportunity to finally get enough money to escape. Hosea eventually brings up the fact that the reason they had issues before with big things like this was because they did not execute them properly. He even proceeds to bring up Blackwater and cites this as the reason that things went sour.
I'm just making sure.
Every plan is a good plan if we execute it properly. Every problem we had was because we did not execute properly. Even Blackwater, from my understanding.
This is the thing that convinced Dutch to go along with the plan, seeing this as a new opportunity that if they execute properly, they can rob the bank successfully and escape. With that, Dutch finally agrees to the plan, and the next morning you ride out to hit the biggest bank this side of the Lannahechee.
You're right. Let's rob this bastard. Everyone, get ready. Look smart. Travel light. You got everything, Arthur?
Sure.
So, we rob ourselves a bank, and within 6 weeks we're living life anew in a tropical idyll, spending the last of our days as banana farmers. Let's get out of this godforsaken place and go rob ourselves a bank!
As you ride to Saint Denis to rob this bank, you feel a sense of excitement but also wariness of the situation that you're in, and you can hear it in the music. As Dutch is talking about how everything is going to go down, you start to feel more and more excitement to finally go to the fabled Tahiti or Australia that Dutch has been talking about this entire chapter. But with that excitement, you also feel like something could go very, very wrong. After all, this is the biggest bank this side of the river with lots of security and police. Even if the plan does go the way it's supposed to, who's saying that the police won't catch on and kill you before you can even get out of the bank? This savings bank is an incredibly stuffed one. The law is not just going to let you walk away when you're trying to steal hundreds of thousands of dollars, but this is why there is going to be a distraction to get all the law to go away so you can successfully rob the bank and get out before anybody is the wiser. With that, you continue to ride towards the bank until Hosea tells the rest of the gang to let him and Abigail go on ahead to cause the distraction.
Gentlemen, let us go ahead.
How long do you need?
Not long. 15 minutes or less. You'll know by the noise. Any problems? We'll see you in camp.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Right on!
Yeah!
As you get to the bank, Dutch goes over the plan one last time, reinstating it for everybody to do their share so you can get out of there as fast as possible. And then...
I love that, Hosea! He is a true artist.
It's go time. The entire gang walks to the front door of the bank and the robbery is on. Guns drawn, people in the bank are scared and they all get ushered into the bank manager's office. The bank manager opens up the vault and you get to looting it. As you're opening the safe, even Dutch is impressed by how much money there is.
Okay, I'm in.
What did I tell you? Well.
As you loot the safe, John cries out that there is law sitting right outside the bank. You leave the vault to see this.
Out here. Come out! It's over!
Shit! Abigail!
Dutch! Get out here!
Hosea is being held at gunpoint by Agent Milton. The Pinkertons knew about the bank robbery. They were either watching the bank or somebody tipped them off. Irregardless, now Hosea's life is at stake. Milton is pissed and he wants Dutch. He is tired of cutting them deals and at this point is more than ready to kill the entire gang if need be just to get to him.
Get out here now!
Someone must have squealed.
Never should have gone after Bronte, Dutch.
Mr. Milton, let my friend go. Or folks, they are gonna get shot unnecessarily.
Your friend? Why would I do that?
Come on, Milton.
It's over. No more bargains, no more deals.
Mr. Milton, this is America. You can always cut a deal.
I've given you enough chances.
Come on!
No! God damn it!
Dutch refuses to come out and Hosea gets killed as a result. One of the founders of the gang just got killed at the hands of the Pinkertons, this being entirely Dutch's fault because he never listened to him. And even after shooting Hosea, Milton still proceeds to berate Dutch by saying,
There's your deal, Dutch.
Hosea.
and you can see right on Dutch's face he is in complete disbelief. As well with the player, you just saw one of Arthur's parents get killed right in front of him. You can even hear the pain in Arthur's voice when he says,
God damn it!
You can even hear it in the music, the sad, drawn-out violins with a few strums of a guitar. And that previous disbelief goes to sadness right to anger, and then in a matter of seconds the entire bank is being lit up by Pinkertons. Bullets are flying everywhere, wagons are coming in with Pinkertons. No matter how many you kill, there's 8 more on the way. The music is incredibly tense and captures the feeling of helplessness, urgency, and the panic that the gang is going through. You're being surrounded by dozens and dozens and dozens of Pinkertons at a time. Dutch is ordering everybody around to shoot while he tries to come up with a plan to get everyone out of there. Eventually, you escape the bank by using a bundle of dynamite placed on the bank wall. You get to the top of the roof and you realize just how many men are out there. You have the high ground in this situation, but the rest of the gang is still down there. And this part of the game does a great job at pissing you off. You just lost a gang member who was sincerely loved by everyone in the gang and everybody who played it. Seeing him die is absolutely heartbreaking. And this is a big reason that I love Chapter 5. The way they executed the ending of Chapter 4 was absolutely amazing. They hit you with an incredibly big loss and now you're struggling to escape. You can only imagine what is going on back at camp. All of those people back at camp could be in danger now, but you barely have time to worry about that with all the Pinkertons swarming around the bank trying to kill you. And as you're up on that rooftop, you finally get the chance to let some of this anger out from them killing Hosea. A lot of people in this part of the mission are absolutely fucking spamming their weapons, spamming Deadeye and just trying to kill as many of these sons of bitches as possible. And oh my god, the music. They perfectly capture the panic, the urgency, and how terrible things just got after seeing Hosea get shot. But as the rest of the gang gets up the ladder, you finally all regroup. But then you find out that John got captured by the Pinkertons.
I couldn't help. Arthur! We lost John.
Killed?
Arrested. I couldn't help.
Well, we better go. We'll be next.
Now the count of people lost is 2. Not only did Hosea get shot and killed, but now John is also in custody. And in a matter of the next minute, Lenny also gets shot.
Lenny, he's dead.
Oh, God, no! There's nothing we can do. We gotta keep moving. I don't see them.
Now the number of members you lost are 3. John got arrested, Lenny got shot and killed, and Hosea got shot and killed. At this point, however, the Pinkertons lose the game. Eventually, the remaining gang members seek refuge in a building nearby and talk about a plan to escape.
I don't believe it.
They knew we were coming. Just like your ferry job in Blackwater. Ain't nothing like that. What now?
I don't know. I don't. This whole town is filled with cops.
Well, how long we gonna stay here? A few hours?
We go back to camp, they're gonna get every last one of us. I know they're gonna be watching the roads. I got it. A boat.
What you mean?
We stay here till nightfall. Then we sneak on down to the docks. We get ourselves out of here.
Yeah, where?
Any place will do. That's all I got. We leave. We lie low. We come back for the rest in a few weeks.
I'm guessing it's that. Or we die out there right now.
Exactly. Now, everybody, calm down.
And that's exactly what happens. They get on a boat going to an island off Cuba, and everything seems like it has finally calmed down.
What now?
Well, at least we got some gold.
I'm sure. This boat ain't going to Tahiti by any chance.
I don't know. John, Lenny, Hosea, that wasn't good.
I know. So what we gonna do now?
Guess I'm gonna introduce myself to the captain. Give him some of this gold to secure his silence, and find out where we're heading. How do I look?
Like a shifty, no-good killer on the run from the law.
Ain't that the truth? Like Colonel Waxman on a jolly? I highly doubt it. I reckon we hold ourselves to ourselves, and this is done and dusted.
Let's hope so.
I ain't no sailor, but, that cloud look like good news to you?
This is until the gang sees a storm cloud off in the distance. Later on that night, there's a huge hurricane that destroys the ship that they're on and plunges them deep into the ocean. The rest of the gang is swallowed by a giant wave, and Arthur jumps off the boat into the water, seeing that to be his only option to possibly survive. The next morning, Arthur wakes up on an island, and this is where my favorite chapter starts. Now, why did I just fully explain everything that happened up until this point? Why did I just explain the entirety of the Saint Denis bank robbery and even go over how they got here? The reason this is because this is a big reason why I love Chapter 5. One of the biggest reasons I love this chapter is that it takes place after such an important and somewhat destructive part of the game. This part of the game throws you for a complete loop. You'd think that you're just going to rob a bank and maybe have a hard time escaping at the most, but instead the Pinkertons show up and completely assault the gang. You lose several members of said gang, and so much crazy shit happens that you don't even get the opportunity to process pretty much any of it until you actually reach Guarma. Red Dead Redemption 2 does a great job at making you feel like all is lost when you wash up on the island. You have no idea where you even are. You don't know where the rest of the gang is or if they're even alive. The beginning of this chapter just makes you feel like you're playing a whole different game. It doesn't even feel like Red Dead Redemption 2 anymore. It feels like you're playing a completely different game because this island makes it feel alienated. Nothing like this ever happens before this point. And as you get more accustomed to being here, you finally start to be able to think over what happened in Saint Denis. Dutch's madness is another big reason why this chapter is one of my favorites. This is the very first time we actually see Dutch starting to lose his grip. You can tell just how defeated he is when he says sorry to the gang for everything that has happened when you first get on the island.
Arthur,
I need to get some rest.
well, you're right. We all need to relax. What a mess. I am so sorry. Boys,
Get some sleep, Dutch.
This is the very first time he is without Hosea, and you can tell just how bad he is taking it. There are plenty of examples I could show you, but I think this one takes the cake for just how he is starting to unravel.
Aquí arriba.
This way.
Sí. Then you pay more.
Okay.
More.
Just a second.
Pay more. Pay now. Ah!
Dutch, what are you doing? Jesus. Easy, Dutch.
What was that?
Horrible old crone.
But you killed her.
She was gonna betray us, Arthur. Couldn't you tell?
No.
Well, I got some Spanish. She was.
You keep killing folk, Dutch.
I am just trying to make sure that some of us survive, Arthur. Now, shall we proceed?
He kills this woman when he didn't even need to. It was a senseless kill. He had 2 pistols that he could have pulled on her instead of having to murder her. This woman was not a threat to him. You can see just how easily he overpowers her right when he kills her. Again, it was a senseless kill. This is one of the very beginning examples of Dutch losing his mind. This is a big reason why I like this chapter. It's because it shows what to expect in chapter 6, but much more vaguely. Things like this don't happen again actually until chapter 6. Now I think I have to actually start talking about Guarma and the missions themselves. I think the missions themselves, no matter what one, is incredibly action-packed and enjoyable to play, and some of them offer great story exposition like the one with Dutch that we were just talking about. But needless to say, all of these missions are incredibly fun, and since they take place on a completely new area that you've never explored, it makes it that much more enjoyable. My favorite mission out of the bunch being Hell Hath No Fury, and if you've played this mission, you already know the reason why. The reason why this is one of my favorite missions is because they send a giant fucking warship after you. Before this point, you never see anything like this in the game, and the fact that you're fighting it from a giant castle is just so goddamn cool. Sniping people from atop Cinco Torres is incredibly fun. I could go on and on about why I love this mission, but the fact that there is just so much fighting and killing and the way that the game makes you feel like this warship could just blow up the castle at any second is just incredibly cool, intense, and incredibly exciting. And my favorite part about this mission is where you blow this fucking thing up. Another thing I would like to talk about is the music. The music that they play during these missions are amazing. Don't get me wrong, all of the music that is in this game is incredibly good, but Guarma's music is just executed fucking perfectly. When you first get on the island, they play a track called Welcome to the New World, and it sounds exactly like what you're feeling at the time. You have no idea where you are, you're waking up God knows how long after you wash up on shore, and you have no idea where the fuck you even are. And here we go again talking about Hell Hath No Fury. I cannot be the only one that thinks that this soundtrack absolutely slaps. This track starts when you first see the giant warship, and oh my god, it's just fucking amazing. Just listen to the soundtrack for a moment. Those are the 3 main parts of the soundtrack. Fucking absolutely excellent stuff right here. And each one of the missions have their own soundtrack, all inspired around Guarma. They are all incredibly good, but I think that the 2 that I've shown you guys are good enough examples of just how good the music is in this chapter. And it's one of the things that make Guarma so goddamn good. Now we've talked about the music and the missions themselves. These two parts of Guarma make it incredibly enjoyable, but there is still one other thing that makes this chapter amazing, and that is the dialogue. Where do I even start with this? It is absolutely incredible. There are so many quotable funny ass lines from this part of the game, it's hard to pick one that is my favorite. But this is something that definitely excels this part of the game. This part of the game just has so many funny ass jokes and incredible one-liners, specifically from Dutch and Arthur. Dutch and Arthur really do steal the show in this chapter. I just want to show you guys just a couple of examples that I'm talking about because these are fucking priceless.
Well, next I guess we're gonna get shot. Aiden O'Malley.
Is that so? What are you doing, Mr. O'Malley?
Surviving. We were lost at sea. In the storm.
Is that so?
No, I'm in the habit of looking like this. Is all of it?
And free our friendly captain and destroy the artillery. You got it secured properly, cowpoke?
I think so.
Knowing you, I have my doubts.
Shut up, Mike.
Come on, run!
So, I met up with Leon. That situation with the workers is dealt with. Captured, tied up, beaten.
Poor bastards.
No, that was me.
We need to deal with them.
Well, I'm sure you got some ideas.
Shut up and help me kill them.
On my count, you take the one on the right. I'll take the left.
So much for the count to 3. Now we need to create a diversion.
Well, what do you think? Find another old lady to strangle?
Oh, I got you now, you bastard.
We are all bastards, my friend. But only one of us is some would-be emperor's whore.
We know who you are.
And nobody knows who you are. Not even your goddamn father.
You maggots are going to die.
Eventually, I'm sure we will. But not today, not because of you.
The U.S. Navy is on the way.
I am sure they are. Which is why you're going to let us leave. Or you are dying right here, my friend.
We've killed better men than you fools.
Enough? Oh, I've had enough of this. Arthur, the rifle?
Sure.
Here!
If you're not laughing or at the very least smiling after watching those few clips, I have no idea what the hell is wrong with you. This is one of the things that make Chapter 5 so enjoyable for me. Not to mention the standoff against Fusar and Hercule is a really cool moment of the game, and one of the only standoffs that you are actually a part of. And not to mention, once again, the music makes this interaction so much better. Okay, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw this part of the video coming, but I want to bring up exactly why a lot of people don't like this chapter. Now, I've done at least a little bit of research into why people don't like this chapter, and the 3 general reasons are: the chapter feels like filler, it's out of place for a Western game, and the fact that it is way too restrictive. Now, the first one out of these 3 I would really like to talk about is the fact that some people believe this is filler, and that they could have completely cut out this part of the game. Here's the problem. The only reason this island feels like filler is because it was not fully complete. I don't think I even have to say that this island is not complete. 90% of it is a low poly mess, and unfortunately Rockstar just didn't have enough time to complete this place. If this island was fully complete, this place would not have felt like filler, and it would have felt like a brand new explorable area. And this directly ties in with the fact that it's way too restrictive. Again, going back to the point that this place wasn't fully complete. Guarma was originally meant to be this big open and free roamable area centered around the rebellion against Fusar, where you could find treasure and brand new animals. Hell, even the water around the area was also meant to be incredibly detailed with animals like sharks and turtles. In addition to this, there was also supposed to be stores that you could go to and stranger missions to complete. Did I mention that there was also supposed to be 2 gigantic sister islands that you can actually see off in the distance when you're on Guarma? You are meant to come back here in the epilogue after a successful rebellion, but the issue is that all of this got cut because they didn't have time to complete it. And the third complaint, that it just feels out of place. I agree and I disagree. I personally believe that it was a nice change of pace. I enjoyed the chapter, but I've also read a lot of people's consensus on this place and on this chapter, and again, it goes right back to the fact that the place wasn't complete. To be honest, I think all of the complaints center around the fact that this place was just incomplete, and the fact that it felt rushed, because in all honesty it kind of was. They had so much more planned for this, but instead of focusing on Guarma, they focused on places like New Austin, which honestly in my opinion should have just gotten cut. I do like going out there and exploring, but it's just dead out there. There's a handful of things to do and you just don't feel the need to go back. If development time was instead put towards Guarma, it could have made this place better. Maybe not fully complete, but it could have made the place much better. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Rockstar put way too much on their plate for this island and shit, even the game in general. But all in all, I think most of the complaints that people had, people probably wouldn't have had if the island was fully complete. I'm not saying that everybody would have loved it, but I am saying that if this area was more like the normal map and you could actually do things, meet new people, and just have fun like you could with the normal map, but on the island, I can guarantee you 90% of the complaints would not exist. And this is the reason this place is underrated. This chapter is underrated because even though we didn't get basically anything of what we were originally going to for this place, this chapter is still incredibly fun, and there are a lot of things that make this chapter one of the better ones. Of course, this chapter is not going to beat out Chapter 6 or Chapter 2 for most people, but that's not to say that this chapter was bad. I still and always will believe that this chapter was incredibly fun and enjoyable, at least for me. Oh, and by the way, to the people who hate this chapter just because it takes your weapons away, and that's the reason why you hate this entire chapter, I don't know how to put this politely, but please grow up. I'm sure all of us were worried about not being able to get our weapons back, but it would have been fucked up if they didn't, and we did, so if that's the reason why somebody watching this video didn't like this chapter, that's a pretty shallow reason not to like an entire piece of a game just because you don't have your weapons. Now, where does this incomplete version of Guarma land in the grand scheme of things in Red Dead Redemption 2? Unfortunately for a lot of people, and I mean, well, honestly, most people, it lands very low. You can't even come back to Guarma unless you mod the game like I do or glitch there. And it's very unfortunate because this place could have been something much more. I will always love this place, but it's always just going to be a shadow of what it could have been. I am always going to love this island, I am always going to love the ideas behind it, but even nearly 10 years later, this game just feels incomplete because of this island. And this isn't even the only example of it. New Mexico was originally supposed to be in the game. New Austin was originally going to be much bigger. There are so many different things that was cut from this game. Unfortunately, a lot of the things that were cut from this game were big things that could have made the game 100 times better. But that's where I'm going to leave this video. I was just playing this chapter a couple of weeks ago and it was such an enjoyable experience that it made me want to talk about this chapter in its entirety. Needless to say, I really do love this chapter and it is one of my favorites. I just wish that this place, like a lot of other people, was fully complete. Or at least that we got half of what they were intending to put into Guarma. But what do you think about the state of Guarma? Do you think it's fine how it is? What did you think about the chapter? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you if you made it to this point of the video. It really does help me out and gets my video recommended throughout YouTube a little more. I love every single one of you who are supporting me. And thank you very, very much for watching. And by the way, try giving this chapter another chance if you disliked it. You could find that it's much, much more fun than you remember.
Hello all, this is your favourite raccoon, Nikon558 here. Now my friend Custodial Ruby has told me that I'm a fucking idiot and I did not think what to say. So, I hear not much of you people are hitting the like and subscribe button for Custodial Ruby's YouTube channel. Now, you better hit that subscribe button. If not, I will personally come round your house and take a shit in your pillowcase.